Hey guys, AirTias here, Air for short. So I just recently fused the Water Phoenix and I was videotaping it, but my phone suddenly got a lot of messages and the banners were showing up and it just made for a really poor video. So I decided to make this one where I discuss the Water Phoenix monster and runes. So let's get started. He is an attack type monster and his skills are Arcane Blast. Attacks the enemy with a mysterious energy and stuns them for one turn with an 18% chance. It's not very high, but stuns are always welcome. Frozen Orb attacks with an extreme chill and freezes the enemy for one turn if you get a critical hit. So the more critical hits he does, or the higher his crit rate, the more likely he's going to attempt to freeze. And that's awesome. Freeze and Stun are my two favorite debuffs, as they just basically completely remove the ability of that monster to have a turn. Ice Volcano attacks all enemies with an exploding ice volcano, inflicting damage based on their HP and decreasing their attack power for 2 turns. I'm not really certain if this is based on their max HP or the percentage of HP that they already have. I'm assuming it's max HP. So this is really great. I think it means the higher their HP, the more damage it's going to do, the higher their max HP. So that's really great against bosses and monsters with just high HP that people put energy runes on, such as maybe a Chloe or Amen or somebody who has HP-based skills. And that's really great. Lowering attack power is also good against bosses because generally they can hit pretty hard, and if you lower their attack power, they won't hit so hard. So, rune-wise, a lot of people tend to do Rage Blade, which I think is a really great idea. The Ice Volcano skill here hits all enemies, so you want a good critical hit and lots of crit damage. And then also a critical hit will freeze. Now, something you need to keep in mind with this monster is if you want to take full advantage of the ability to freeze, or lowering the attack, or the stun, you're going to need a lot of accuracy as well. However, a lot of Phoenix generally have very high base attack rates. So I wouldn't put maybe accuracy on slot 6. I would definitely look for accuracy substats. So it's a little tricky to rune this monster. You're looking for crit rate substats for sure, accuracy substats, and then you want to increase his crit damage. Now something to take note of is when he's awakened, his critical rate increases by 15%. So when I usually do Rage Blade, I will suggest maybe crit rate on slot 4, but for this monster I would definitely go for the crit damage on slot 4 and try to get the crit rate substats nice and high. So for him, crit rate substats, accuracy substats, and Rage Blade are really, really great for him. Another way you could rune this monster are Despair runes. Typically I say focus runes with Despair. I think his critical rate is just too important, so I would actually give Despair and Blade runes and definitely look for accuracy substats and try to get his crit rate nice and high, mostly for this freezing ability. Now if you do give him Despair runes, I believe it increases this stun rate from 18% to a 48%, or no, 38%, sorry, to a 38% stun rate. So that's a good boost there. And then if this happens to not land as a critical hit, it may end up stunning. But for the most part, you're going to see a nice improvement with the Ice Volcano, also lowering attack power. It also will give a chance of stunning. So Despair runes are not bad on this monster at all. Now, for slot 2, as far as runes go, I would go attack percentage. On slot 4, I would do the crit damage, and then on slot 6, I would go for attack percentage, mostly because this monster just has a really high base attack, so you really want to, capitalize on that and give him as much attack as possible. So yeah, I would suggest Rage Blade for just a truckload of damage, Despair Blade for a little bit of a stun advantage as well as the damage for with the critical hits. And yeah, I find that they're not super tanky. They're kind of a medium to low, I'd say, in my experience battling them. So definitely partner them up with monsters with leadership abilities of, extra HP or extra defense, or monsters with skills that give a buff to defense, such as Megan, or what's her face, Shannon, the Wind Pixie. Yeah, so some defense buffing as well as leadership abilities will really help this guy out. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Water Phoenix. I'd love to know any runing ideas that you guys have had with this monster. He's the final of my 5-star fusions, and I'm really happy to have him, and I'm going to try him out and hopefully add him to the team. So, till next time, peace, guys.